as I shared with the communities there, were what we applied during the COVID pandemic. And with the of our knowledge is it didn't result in death by suicide, specifically relating to those issues. And I think in part that has been because of the enormous resilience of those communities supporting each other, but the actions that we took together with the state governments to provide those mental health services and reaching out into those stations, into those properties, into those communities. Now, the same has been true in our response to the outbreaks that we've seen with COVID across the last year in response to the drought. So mental health, particularly on COVID, has been a signature part of the Australian response, and recognised so. When I was attending the G20 summit and the East Asia summit recently, as each country talked about the response we had, I was able to make reference to how mental health is a key part of our response. And it was actually the Sultan of Brunei was the other leader who particularly put focus on that issue, and I commend him for doing so. Our emergency service workers, our police officers, paramedics, they see things and deal with things that thankfully the rest of us don't. I'm the son of a police officer, my brother's a paramedic, my brother-in-law was a fiery. So I've got some understanding of what they go through each and every day. And things have changed a lot when it comes to mental health support for our emergency service workers since when my dad was a beat police officer working at King's Cross in Sydney. And so I think that's a good thing. But, you know, for people who put themselves in harm's way for us, it really is an issue of just making sure we do all we possibly can.
With the issues being faced by the Pfizer vaccine, are you confident we can still see January approval, end of January approval and mid-February rollout?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on that today. When we're in a position to make decisions and announcements about these things, then we will. I think it's very important that we don't speculate on those matters. There are some uncertainties which we've already discussed today, but what I can tell you is this, that the Therapeutic Goods Administration, Professor Skerritt and that whole team, they will be making sure it's safe in terms of those vaccines. And when they say it's safe, when they give it the tick, then I'll take the jab. And I think all Australians can too. But our process is world leading, it's world class, it's a process that I believe Australians can have a lot of confidence in. We're not rushing this, nor are we delaying it. We're getting it right. That's what matters. We're getting it right. And by getting it right, I think Australians can have a lot of confidence. We're learning a lot from what's happening overseas, and you've got to get all your ducks in a row on this. Because remember, there's two shots in the vaccine. You don't go and give the first one if you haven't got the confidence about the second one. And that can put a lot of pressure on your system. So, you know, the refrigerated storage, the logistics, the transportation, the training of the workers, the clinics where they'll be, all of that is being worked through in precise detail. But the first step in all of that, of course, is for the TGA to give it a tick. And they are dotting every I and they're crossing every T.
Those logistics that you speak of, do you think they'd be more challenging for a place like Queensland, where our population is spread over such a vast area?
Well, I think WA would probably claim some special